Hey guys, HTOWN LOWDOWN here. I'm here with host Jeremy Dennis, Anthony Castillo, and myself, the executive producer Clayton Scott. How you guys doing today?
Awesome. Just another day in paradise. I woke up, so let's go. Let's hear what you guys got to say.
Can't complain. It's been a good day. Tomorrow's Friday. That's always good. About ready to hit the weekend and just hang out.
I know we have some big sports news of the day. First of all, the biggest I would say is the British Open. Tiger Woods came in with an impressive round. Rory McIlroy is going to lead the British Open today. There's a guy, Morrison. Is that his last name? He's in second place right now.
I honestly, I was trying to watch it, but the British Open is so because we're so ahead of time, or they're so ahead of time of us, that by the time on Sunday who's going to win the British Open before it even airs.
Unless you just shut off everything and don't look at the leaderboard and stuff, it's kind of hard not to know what's already going to happen. I mean, I prefer to watch a major and not know the outcome. And, on Sundays, Sunday on a major is always one of my favorite things, and we're already going to know who wins it. Kind of like last year when Phil pulled it out. I mean, it was still cool because Phil was the winner, but we already knew, so watching it wasn't exciting.
Yeah, in the age of modern technology, I mean, you get news streamed to you just like
it's kind of impossible not to find out.
Yeah, it's hard to just kind of become a hermit with sports news. I mean, I shut down my phone. I forgot the Rockets were playing somebody, and then I was like, I don't want to hear it because I had to go do something, and I still got alerts that we were getting our ass kicked. So
yeah, and people have DVRs nowadays, and you hear people saying, "Oh, I didn't get to watch the game, but I got it on my DVR. I'm going to go home and watch it later." How many times does that actually work, where they go home and still not know the outcome of the game?
Well, it's like that scene in Fever Pitch where he goes out with Drew Barrymore. And somebody starts talking about the Red Sox game, and so he just starts plugging his ears and starts yelling, la, 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 trying not to hear it.
I mean, I don't see how that could work anytime. I mean, I've tried that also, but, you could try your hardest, and still you'll hear it from some other source that you're not – I mean, you could turn on any channel, and they'll just mention, And so it's kind of impossible not to hear the outcome.
The Open, though, I love this tournament. It's great. But you know what really is sucking right now is that Phil is sucking. Phil's one of my favorite golfers, one of Jeremy's favorite golfers. I mean, we go to the
He is my favorite golfer.
We go to the Open just to follow Phil. And it's amazing. The Open is a beautiful tournament, and I can't wait to go back. I will really want to go back.
Yeah, I know Phil had a problem earlier. I think he was on the 17th hole, and he hit the ball, and apparently it went out of bounds in the stands, and he couldn't tell. He walked all the way up to the ball, then realized it went out of bounds. You think somebody could have told him. So he got in the golf cart and had to go all the way back and re-hit his second shot. But he ended up with a bogey, and they said that's a well-earned bogey for a profession right there.
Well, don't you have marshals out there? You're supposed to have marshals.
Somebody should have mentioned something.
Flaggers or something.
To let him walk all the way up to the ball, then you're slowing down the rest of the field. And they did. They said on the TV, yeah, we had to stop the rest of the field for 10 minutes for him to walk back and hit again.
Hell, have you ever played in a golf tournament? There's that old man marshal that's like, hurry up, speed it up. And
the golfers are timed. They are timed out there.
They are. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah, there was one incident last year. Jeremy, do you remember that incident? One golfer was timed. Was it McIlroy? He was taking too long.
Which tournament?
I forget which tournament. He was taking too long in between shots, and I think they actually gave him a penalty stroke.
That rings a bell.
Was that the Masters? Was that when Rory was about to win it? He went into the lead? It might have been. I don't know. But what do you think? Rory's in the lead. Do you think he holds on to it?
That's hard to say. I mean, it's only Thursday. That's a lot of golf to play, and things change. So, I mean, he doesn't have that big of a lead either. It's not like he just blew everybody away. I mean, Tiger's only 3 shots behind. So, I mean, even Phil could come back and get himself in it by Sunday, but you never know.
I mean, you have that. Yeah, there's that thing in the back of your mind because you saw Rory collapse being the outright leader of the Masters, and then he just collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, the golf, it's a head game. I mean, you can collapse. I mean, even they're the greatest players in the world. I mean, you see it happen almost every tournament.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I have a character that I built myself on Tiger Woods on Xbox, and I'm leading a tournament, like a major tournament, and then it comes to day 3, and I just collapse. So I can't even imagine actually really doing it, because I mean I've broken probably about 2 Xbox controllers on that. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, well, McElroy was leading at Matteo Manacero. I think I just butchered that name, but he's from Italy. He's in second place, 5 under. Impressive round, but I've never even heard of this guy. Have you guys ever heard of this guy before?
No, there's always guys that pop up that you never heard of.
I think it happens a lot. You know, these guys will do good the first round. They might make the cut, do good maybe up to the 3rd day, but then eventually they become irrelevant and
I mean, hell, did anybody ever know who Rocco Mediate was until he put Tiger in that playoff in the Open?
Man, that's the thing. This field, there's so many players out there, and anybody can win. Anybody has an opportunity to win this thing. It just matters who gets hot.
Yeah, that's the thing about golf. It's one of those things where it's one person against a field. And you just got to be on your stuff. I mean, I have no idea how somebody comes out there and just wins it all, because it's all on you. It's all on you.
Well, you know, Roy, he's had a tough year with personal issues. You know, I think he got a divorce. Canceled his wedding.
Oh man!
But he has been pretty impressive as of late. He's been playing better golf. I think he said he's just now getting used to his new clubs. But he looked really decent out there today. I mean, if he can hold it together, I think he'll be in contention come Sunday. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Hold on. I want to go back to the whole Rory canceling his wedding. Rory, all right, they send out the invites, and then 2 days later he calls her and says, this ain't working out. We're done. What are you doing? That's Caroline Wozniacki. Super hot, one of the best tennis players in the world.
And he's 25 years old. He's a professional golfer. He has a lot of money.
If he's not feeling it. I mean, she could be the hottest chick in the world. If you're not feeling it, then cut it off, dude. Just because she's hot, I can stay with her.
But
who knows why? I mean,
yeah. Well, it was weird because when I heard about that, I started following her on Twitter, and I went back and went through her Twitter feed. And it was amazing. It was like, me and Rory going to watch Wicked, me and Rory making hot chocolate and tea and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the next one right after that was, thanks, guys, for supporting me. I'm having such a hard time, but I appreciate the support. But do you think Rory is going to be one of those breakout stars? Like, do you think he has a chance to get up there?
I think he's already done that. I think he already has been a breakout star.
He has what? 1 major? That's it, right?
1 major?
He has 2.
He's in contention, though, just about every tournament. I mean, I don't know.
He was supposed to be the next Tiger Woods. He obviously hasn't panned. I know he's young, but
you know, you see that a lot.
I don't look at him as a big threat. I don't know. He has a good game, but I think he's won 2 majors.
Well, I know he won the British. No, he didn't win the British, did he? He won the U.S. Open.
I think he's won the PGA Championship.
Does that count as a major?
Let's look that up.
Okay, see, I get confused. I get confused about TPC or PGA Championship. That's one that I get.
TPC, it's considered a non-major. It's about as close. It's not a major though, actually.
So it's like a major, 1B or something.
Well, you know what?
If you win that, it doesn't count as a major, but it's considered to be.
While we're on this topic again with the British Open, let's call one of our analysts, one of our co-hosts, Jason Graves. He's pretty well informed on this golf stuff. Let's do a shout out, give him a ring, and see how he feels about the tournament.
Real quick to clarify the Rory the majors, he won the U.S. Open in 2011. He won the PGA Championship in 2012. So he has 2 majors.
Oh, okay. See, oh man. Well, you know who I have no faith in? Ricky Fowler. Hate that dude. He's terrible. That guy's won like 2 tournaments in his whole professional career.
See if he answers for us.
So we're on the phone right now.
Hello?
Jason Graves.
What's up?
Hey, you're on the radio, HTOWN LOWDOWN. We have a host, Jeremy Dennis here, Anthony Castillo, and myself as executive producer, Clayton Scott. Welcome to our show, man.
Thank you. I thought it's weird that radio shows call the people listening now, right?
We just like to randomly call people, and also you forgot to name drop our mascot, Jose Hernandez.
Taking pictures like a mother over here.
Like a mother.
He always is.
Well, Jason, we're on our first topic of the day, the British Open. Rory McIlroy leads. Tiger Woods came up with an impressive round today. What are some of your insights on the British Open as of now?
It comes on really early in the morning. That's my first. My second insight, it's nice to see that Tiger Woods has come up and played well. I mean, he always makes golf that much more interesting when he's in it. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, the ratings are sky high when he's playing.
It's so true. That's 100% true. It kind of seems that Phil Mickelson is kind of struggling right now, but I mean, at least there's Rich Fowler, right, Anthony?
Yes. Don't talk. Phil's gonna come back. All right. I need Phil. I need Phil in my life. If Phil's not there on Sunday, I have no idea what I'm gonna do on Sunday. No idea.
Probably just go ahead and sleep like most of America because it is at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I can't sleep. I can't sleep past 9 now because I'm so old.
You still wouldn't be able to catch his round anyway. It usually starts at 11 o'clock or something crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah. Since he's over there, it'll be. He played about like 6 hours ago. So, damn British Open.
What about you, Jeremy? Dennis, are you excited about the first round of play for you?
Obviously, hasn't turned out like I like. I mean, Phil's 2 over, the leader's 6 under. There's a lot of golf to be played.
There's a lot of golf. They always say you can't win it in the first round, but you can definitely lose it. And I don't think he's lost it yet.
Yeah, I mean, in golf, you can put yourself so far behind, it's almost impossible. I mean, other people, they can tank. Golf's a head game, like we were talking about earlier, and so you never know what's going to happen. There's still 3 more rounds to play. So,
I know Phil didn't have the best round today, but on the commentary afterwards during an interview, he said he's hit the ball better today than he has in the past year. Said he had stroked the ball just better than he has before.
Wait, whoa. Did I just hear stroke the ball?
He did.
Did you just say stroke the ball out of your mouth?
Dude, he could be listening. Have you ever thought about that?
He just had a couple tough breaks, but if he's striking the ball well, that's all you need. He should be able to make the cut tomorrow if he goes out striking the ball well again. Let's just see if he can, get some of those birdies and lower his score.
The thing about Phil though is he can either be on his game in a major or he can just lose it all. I mean, he just implodes. It's
all about putting. If you can putt, you can go ahead and win. And I mean, it doesn't matter how well he's hit the ball off the tee. He needs to make some putts.
Yeah, Phil is. That's the thing I've always thought about Phil. I think his putter it tears him down. He's there. Here's a chance. You don't know how many holes in a row I've seen where it's like, oh, he has chance for birdie, and it always ends up with a par because he's terrible at putting.
Sometimes it's difficult, there's no doubt. Sometimes you have a good chance to make it, sometimes you don't. I mean, it's just like any other sport. Every now and then you're going to blow a couple that you should make, just like you're probably going to make a couple you shouldn't.
Well, Jay, do you see any sleepers and they're going to be in contention on Sunday? Anybody you like?
It's nice to see Mateo Ventura. I heard he had big things coming into it.
Yeah, we were just talking about
that he's played well so far.
Yeah, he shot a 5 under today, one behind the leader. And no one's really heard of this guy. I'm not sure what he's done in the past, but he's looking pretty good right now. But usually, from my experience watching golf, when this happens, they're at the top of the leaderboard the first day, the second day, but usually pressure gets to them and they fall down.
Yeah, I know. I mean, once you get up there at the top and you realize, holy crap, I got a chance, things change. But that's what makes the good golfers great and the great legendaries.
I.e. Rory at the Masters. I mean, that dude had it basically in the bag and then just collapsed.
They struggled up to that, but then he came back in the U.S. Open, had that one in the bag, and ended up cruising.
Boy, how much would Golf Channel pay to have Mickelson and Woods, Sunday going into the last 4 or 5 holes, both in contention? That's ultimate right there for the Golf Channel and for the PGA.
Don't even.
That's 2007 golf right there.
Don't even tempt me with that.
Tiger's back looked very good today. He was stroking the ball well. I know he had a bunker shot, hit out of the bunker, and probably put it within 3 feet of the hole.
He started off with 2 bogeys, but he rebounded nicely. I mean, that's a pretty good first round for somebody just coming back.
That's good confidence. That's a very good confidence builder for someone like that.
Tiger Woods. I mean, he's
straight up surgery too, right? What did he have?
I mean, this is his first tournament back since he's been gone.
I thought he played his tournament last week.
I don't know.
Yeah, first major back.
His first major back.
Well, I mean, that's still pretty good. But like I said, there's a lot of golf to be played.
There's definitely a lot of golf to be played. I'm interested to see where Tiger Woods ends up. I think if he gets closer and closer to that leader position, then I think he might go ahead and kind of falter some. He has the past, 3 or 4 years, it seems like he just doesn't have that killer instinct he once had.
Oh, I mean, NBC or whoever's covering the coverage of the Open is just dying and hoping, please let Tiger be in that final group or the pairing before it. Like, they need that. They need that because the ratings of the Open and the Masters were just terrible because there was no Tiger.
Well, I will say I do watch the Masters, and I watch all of the major championships. But at any normal day, if Tiger Woods isn't playing, I really don't have any attention into tuning in. I really don't care about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I still like watching golf. Just when Tiger's there, it makes me want to watch it. I'll go out of my way to make sure I'm watching it.
Well, all right. Like, I'll tune into tournaments on Sundays, but. And you have the Masters or the Open. It doesn't, it's nothing like. I'm not gonna want to watch the Valero Open. It's.
Well, Jason, you're left-handed. When are you gonna accept your invitation to go ahead and play in the PGA?
PGA, I keep trying for the cue card. I'd say I have no chance.
We do have our local Open here, in Houston, the Shell Houston Open. When are you going to do that?
We'll follow you, Jason.
At the minimum, next March. Late March, early April. One of them. That's the earliest I'm doing it.
All right, Jay. Well, you have another question? Anybody?
No, I just wanted to say, get on that tournament. We'll follow you. We'll make T-shirts. We'll go to customink.com and make some Jason's. We need to make up a slogan first, but it's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna love us.
The slogan and the logo would be nice. However, any clue? How's our website doing?
Our website, it's going great. It's a progress each and every day, taking a little bit of time. Eventually, it'll be up. Hopefully, within a week or so, we'll have our website up with our podcast listed on there. Also, our social media links will be on there. So anybody and everybody can go on there and take a look at us and take a look at our websites. And we also have our blog feature that'll be posted on there. So each host will have their own little blog site on there. They can just post blogs every day and keep relevant news updated on our website. And
it's hard. It's hard though because we want to get some sponsors and. All we've gotten is just like porn advertisers. It's really hard. We want somebody to be able to watch this at work, but I mean, when you got porn popping up, it's kind of hard, man. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I don't even know how to work the internet that well. I know how to get on and check my email and also watch porn.
There's no doubt I'm very excited about our website, www.HTOWNLOWDOWN.com.
That's right.
I think once we have that website, www.HTOWNLOWDOWN.com, it's very exciting. We'll be able to do a lot more things with her.
There's a plug-in for our website.
Man, Jason's an advertising machine.
So we'll see you tomorrow night, Jason?
Yeah.
All right.
Make a quick plug.
Quick plug, go.
Go ahead.
Join our website, www.HTOWNLOWDOWN.com.
It is posted now. The website is up and running. It's not officially finished yet, but it is up, and our Facebook link is on there. So if you would like to listen to our podcast, go to our website and just click on the link and check out our podcast.
Okay.
All right, Jay. Well, thanks for your insight on the British Open, and have a great night. All right, stay safe.
You too, buddy. Have a good one.
We love you. See you tomorrow. All right, so we got all that done. Now, how does everybody feel about Trevor Ariza?
You know, they say he's a really good three-point shooter. He had a great year last year. I know his first round with the Rockets didn't work out so well. That's why we traded him. But I think he's an improved player. And for the price that we got him, I think it's a better deal than Parsons.
I mean, it could be a worse feeling for Parsons than someone else. He's a decent player. They're also saying that he's coming off a contract year. That's why he had such a good year. But who knows? I mean, I just hope he can step in and hit some big shots for us and play some defense. So
they said that the stats between Ariza and Parsons are comparable, like really, really comparable. And
it's not a huge drop off.
Well, they're both the same height.
Yeah, and Ariza is a better defensive player. From what I've heard.
I think so. And we got him for $8 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 3 years, Dallas is going to be like, damn it, Mark Cuban, you really kind of screwed us.
I mean, this is still obviously not the offseason we were hoping for, but we did fill the Parsons spot. It seems like we're just signing every old player we used to have, which is kind of frustrating. So I'm just waiting for him to sign Castillo, Mobley, and maybe Steve Francis come back so you can put down the crack pipe.
Yeah, well, can't wait to see that number 3 jersey just popping back up.
Yeah, I really hated seeing Parsons go, but he's going to be making more than Harden next year. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he is not a max level contract player. Yeah, I loved him. I loved him here. I loved that. I thought he gelled well with what we had going, but you can honestly not think that he is worth that amount of money.
Yeah, if we would have got Bosch, that would have been a different story. I mean, you match his contract all day long. But you're looking into the future. Next season, during free agency, we want to be able to go out and try to find that third guy. We would have signed Parsons. We would have been caught up in our salary. We would have been able to do that.
But who would have been that third guy? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Who would that have been? Because, Jeremy and I have talked about it. Hearing about, Durant will be free agent. Durant's not leaving OKC. He's not leaving there. He's not coming here, even though him and James Harden are best of buds. He's not leaving there. He loves that city. Yeah. He is the face. I mean, when you think of Oklahoma City, who do you think of? Who's the first
Kevin
person
Durant.
that pops up? Yeah.
Yeah, and other free agency talk today, Carlos Boozer was snatched up by the Lakers earlier today. $3.25 million. They said that he had interest in the Rockets. If he would have cleared waivers, Rockets could have got Boozer.
There was like 8 teams that had enough money to bring him on. Rockets were one of them. I've got resentment towards Boozer just from his days with the Jazz. I mean, if he would have been here, I wouldn't have hated it. But I don't know. I don't think I'm not too hurt that he didn't come here.
Well, hell, the way he screwed over Cleveland. He said, let me out and I'll re-sign. I just want to whatever. And then he just goes to the Jazz. And then we got to deal with that whole Jazz debacle of seeing us getting booted out. And then we got to see Tracy McGrady cry.
I mean, are you that disappointed that Boozer didn't come here?
No, not really.
And other free agents they talked for the Rockets. Today they signed Ishmael Smith. Just like you were saying.
It's another former Rockets player.
Yeah, former Rockets player. They signed him.
Let's bring them all back.
Hey, you know what, though? A lot of these players they're bringing back were the players that did that 22-game win streak.
Yeah, but that's not the same team.
Not the same team.
Yeah, I mean...
Minus Yao and McGrady and who else?
And then Aaron Rick Brooks. Adelman. Hey, bring Aaron Brooks back. Why not? Let's give him a third shot around here.
So, is Daryl Morey in a bad position here? Do you feel...
I don't blame him. I mean, he's getting a bad rap just because things didn't work out. But he did everything he could. I mean, you can't kidnap a player and force him to come here. I mean, in the end, it's usually their decision.
Well,
free agency.
And they told Parsons, hey, we want you to go out, find your money that you're going to get so we can give you a respectful contract. Well, they didn't expect him to go out and find the contract that he did with the Mavericks.
Well, especially the Mavericks.
I think the Mavericks did it on purpose, and I hope it blows up in their face. Hope they realize that he's not worth that money. And I hope this doesn't blow up in our face. So who knows? He might go out and be an all-star, but I highly doubt it.
No, and then his whole thing coming out and saying, "Oh, I felt disrespected," blah 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 blah. Dude, really?
Yeah, that was.
They actually respected you by letting you go, by not taking that option. Because if they would have kept him, he would have been making $900,000.
Yeah, they could have signed him again. They were respecting him.
Well, the reason they did that is because then this next offseason he'd be an unrestricted free agent. So we still lost him without getting anything in return, but that's what they were trying to avoid. And then there was also a deal that we could have re-signed him, and it wouldn't count towards a cap or something. I'm not.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing. They were gonna let him go. And then you made all the necessary moves to get Chris Bosh or a big-time free agent because you cleared up all this cap space by letting go of Ashik.
It was the right move.
Yeah, it was. You let go of Ashik, you let go of Lynn, and then you have that room to sign that big-time free agent. And then, because you still technically had the rights to Parsons, you could sign him to whatever any other team gave him. And you wouldn't be screwed by the salary cap.
Everything was aligned. Everything could have happened like we wanted it to. It just freaking Chris Bosh decided to stay with the Heat, and that screwed up everything. I mean, I don't see how that's Morey's fault. I mean, yeah, it makes him look bad, but if you follow it and you actually know what happened, looking at it from the outside in is not. I mean, unless you know like the details, it's not Morey's fault.
They're talking about this. There are plenty of general managers around the league who just sit there and do nothing, and they're just okay with what they have. They don't like to take risks. They don't want to go out there and try to sign the big name free agent. And I'm glad we have a general manager who likes to do that. He wants to make our team better.
Yeah, it's good seeing that he likes swinging for the fences. I mean, yeah, I guess you're going to strike out like we did this offseason, but I was reading something today where there was another like anonymous GM that said Daryl Morey is known as the guy that always wants to be the smartest person in the room. And that kind of rubs other GMs or maybe players the wrong way. And I just think you can't fault him. He tried.
No, he's doing what he can. I mean, I'd rather have I'd rather have that GM that's out there trying to win it all, trying to get that max player to get out there to make that team better and then fill it in. And it's kind of like Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn will swing for the fences.
He's gonna
strike out a lot, but you know what? He's gonna drop that. Yeah, well, this is
multiple different things.
Hey, you know what? That dude's out of New Caney. That's a Texas boy.
I know, but you have a thing for Adam Dunn.
Speaking about Adam Dunn in baseball, I mean the Astros. They're not in the position to kind of do this right now, but in a few years, we'll be trying to go out there and get big names and big players and bring them to our team. But definitely we'll have the salary for the Astros.
You remember, what was it, 2004, 2005 when we had Clemens and Pettit? Didn't we have, the second highest payroll in the league? Or
something like that. But it was an awesome
now we have, the lowest by far. Almost ridiculous. That's another thing that a lot of teams are rubbed the wrong way by the Astros now because the way they're purposely tanking, the way they go about stuff. That's another argument that they have against the Astros. Same thing goes with Morey, is that everybody thinks the Astros are trying to be the smarter than everybody else. It kind of seems like a same kind of deal as Morey, and I found that amusing.
They're doing what they can. You have to build a foundation before you build up the tower, and so you got to have those foundation pieces. You got to have that, and then the free agents are going to want to come here. I mean, we've got a crop of young talent that is they're talking about we're going to be great. We're going to be
That's
awesome.
If everybody pans out. That's the one thing is you don't know, especially with baseball. Yeah, you can have the number one overall pick a couple years in a row. But yeah, they can be highly touted and can almost be as close to a sure thing as you can. But with baseball, I mean, you never know how they're going to turn out. There's been multiple number one overall picks that didn't turn out to be anything.
Okay, if you're a GM, would you rather draft? If you have the number one pick, would you rather draft a kid out of high school or a junior or senior out of college?
I mean, that's hard to answer. Probably out of high school, because then they're in your actual system longer, and you can kind of mold them and monitor
them or whatever.
But then again, if they come out of college and they're more mature and they're closer to being MLB ready. So it just depends. Honestly, I couldn't tell you which one I'd rather have. I mean, it just depends on the player, I guess. What I don't like is we've had the number one pick the last 3 drafts, but we haven't had a draft where there's like the Nationals had 2 years in a row, where you have a Bryce Harper and a Strasburg. I mean, sure things. And that just kind of sucks. That's our luck. But we'll see how these guys turn out. I'm really excited about Carlos Correa, even though he got hurt. I mean, he'll be back, obviously. It's just you don't ever want to see somebody get hurt like that.
I think the Nationals screwed themselves.
But there's never any kind of guarantee that they're going to pan out. There's no guarantee that, they're number one overall pick, they're going to be the future. That's what you're banking on, but it doesn't always pan out like that.
I think the Nationals screwed themselves out of going to the World Series that one year when they shut down Strasburg in the middle of the playoffs, right before the playoffs started. They shut him down. They said, nah, you know what? You've pitched too many innings. You're shut down.
Oh, he ended up getting hurt, too. So, I mean.
Well, yeah, the next year.
Yeah, but that's your number one guy. You want to protect him. You don't want him to go out there and pitch too many innings.
I didn't think it was that ridiculous if they shut him down. But I can't reiterate how much that you don't know these guys are going to pan out. Like Carlos Correa could be a flop. You don't know. Just because they're minor leagues and MLB is completely different. I mean, Springer is not – he's been going off, hitting home runs, this and that, making awesome catches. But he's not established now. We're not saying, oh, yeah, he's definitely – you never know.
Springer's going to hit more home runs than Berkeley did his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to keep doing it.
Yeah, you do.
That doesn't mean he's going to be a Berkeley.
It's a good. You're right. It's a good start. He has.
No, it's definitely a good start.
He has the build. He has the frame. I think there's plenty of potential.
And it's very encouraging.
Did you see his catch the other night in center field?
He wasn't even looking.
Yeah, he caught that ball and ran into the. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's what we need in a player. He's definitely our star player right now. But you can't ignore Jose Altuve. This guy is having a career year, probably the best year any Astro has had since the 04-05 season.
And it's been, unless you're in Houston, pretty much nobody knows that.
Yeah, you're right. The All-Star game, I watched it, and they talked about him a little bit, and they gave him some props, a little shout-out. But, yeah, unless you're a Houston fan, it's irrelevant.
Well, me and Jeremy watched the All-Star game together, and we were talking about the Astros had the opportunity to draft Jeter. And they were saying if Jeter had done everything that he did with the Yankees – and this was his final year, and he was still an Astro, would he still be getting the fanfare like the whole?
Yeah, would they be carting around each and giving him as much tribute? I mean, they were overboard with it. I'm sorry, and they didn't mention Tony Gwynn once.
Yeah, but if you think
how do you feel about that, though? What do you think about that?
That's messed up.
Yeah, in the All-Star game?
They didn't mention Tony Gwynn one time, but, I mean, it was pretty much – it wasn't even the All-Star game. It was Jeter's show.
Well, if you heard Buzz Selig came out and just announced that he's trying to ban chewless tobacco in Major League Baseball. All these guys do chew tobacco every day. Every time you look at them, they have a chew in their mouth.
Part of the game.
Yeah, it's something to do and something to pass the time.
Oh, hell. The first time I ever did dip was I got on my baseball team in high school, my senior year, and I was always, I was smoking during my senior year, but then they were like, hey, you can't smoke out in the middle of the field. I was like, yeah, I figured that. And they're like, well, you got to dip. And I dipped, and I've dipped a couple times since then, and I just can't get down with it. I just cannot. I cannot. Give me a cigarette. Hell, give me a Camel Unfiltered, and I'll take that over some dip.
I used to dip a lot. I mean, I don't even know why. I just liked it I went through a little phase, but I mean, seeing what it does to you. I mean, cigarettes aren't any better. It's just dip. You see, like, people have their face. Did y'all see pictures of Tony Gwynn before he died? Not like right before he died, but a couple years.
Well, he had
to have half
surgery,
his face.
Well, those guys, they dip like a can a day.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, something like that. Something relevant to that.
Terry Francona, I mean, you hardly ever see that guy without a huge wad on the side of his gum. I mean,
I think Bud Selig trying to enforce that rule, I think that's too much enforcement on the MLB. Let the players do what they want. They know the dangers involved. They know the dangers and risk involved, like smoking cigarettes. Everybody knows the Surgeon General says not to smoke. That's why they don't even have advertisements on TV for cigarettes.
You go to stadiums now. There used to be Marlboro. There used to be Marlboro things all over the stadium.
Everybody knows the risk.
Jim Leland used to smoke in the dugout. Yeah. I remember seeing that. He used to sit there and just smoke in the dugout.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I remember when the Tigers were in the World Series. I think when they were playing the Cardinals, and that game got rain delayed or something. Like they didn't play it, or it got canceled. I remember hearing a story that Leland smoked like 2 packs or something, just sitting around waiting.
I think they banned it after a while. You couldn't smoke in the dugout, so he used to go like down in the tunnel or around the side, and then they didn't even smoke.
Well, he used to be able to smoke on airplanes, but everything's changed. But coming back to Bud Selig, I know he's getting ready to retire, and I think he wants to make a few more impacts on the game before he does. He wants to go out with a bang, and he's already going to be remembered as one of probably the best commissioners MLB's ever had.
I think he's going to be remembered as one of the most controversial commissioners.
He's had a lot of different topics come up during his time. The steroid era.
Yeah.
Now he just introduced the playback and the replays. I think that's a good.
Well, that's beneficial to the game. But the whole thing about him saying, "Oh, I didn't know that steroids were so relevant under my watch." You knew. You knew.
If you look at the numbers, baseball numbers have dropped ever since the steroid age. When they're back in the steroid age, they were hitting home runs, and the viewership went up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, these guys they're still juicing.
It's a business,
When you think about it, though, the era of the long ball came out right after the strike. After the strike, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, what do we need to do? We need something to get the fans back in." And then all of a sudden, people just start jacking home runs.
Just make it legal. Let everybody juice. Then it'll be a fair playing field. They have the money. It'd be more exciting to watch.
Yeah, it may be more exciting to watch, but
I know health benefits. You obviously can't do that. I don't really agree with that.
You know what? If they want to do that, and it messes them up later on, that's their choices. Just like my choice of I smoke and I drink. That's going to come back to me. But the whole thing is, baseball is one of those games where it's like, don't mess with what it's been.
Yeah.
And people get mad. That's why when you hear about a player in the NFL on roids, nobody gets that mad. But if you switch it to a player in baseball that's doing roids, people get angry as hell. They get pissed because baseball is such a stat-driven sport.
Well, with baseball, I think the whole steroid thing kind of snowballed. I mean, I've heard stories about you walking back in the height of the steroids, probably like late 90s or so. You'd see guys, they were chiseled. They look like bodybuilders, and they're playing baseball. So other guys would be sitting there and, they're not on roids, but, that's their job. They're getting paid for this, and they got to keep up. So it snowballed. So they started doing it one after another because they had to keep up with the other players. You had these other guys hitting all these home runs and all this power, and you're not doing the same thing, so you're going to fall behind. That's your livelihood. That's how you make your money. A lot of it, granted, but so it snowballed. So more and more started doing it. Doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that, that's how it grew to the height it did.
Yeah, you're going to do what you got to do to get ahead and stay ahead of the game and keep making your money. Well, if you think about baseball, these guys play for 20 years. In NFL, the average career, 3 years?
Yeah, because they so much wear and tear on your body.
Yeah, they say NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah, so steroids, they go 3 years and they're undetected. They get out of there. They had a career, they made their money. So it's not as big as an impact on the NFL as it is MLB. But with going back to Bud Selig and this tobacco use, I don't think he has a right to ban tobacco. I don't think he can do that, can he? I don't agree with that.
It's like
tobacco's one thing. Steroids is a completely another thing,
But you think about it another way. All right, you're at your job, and they say, "Hey, you can't do drugs." He's the boss of the company.
Well, tobacco's not a drug. When people get smoke breaks, they can go outside and smoke cigarettes.
Oh, there's companies that you can't smoke.
Most cities are starting to ban public smoking. That's why e-cigarettes are starting to become big. But I've never seen it's never affected me. Players chewing tobacco. I've never watched a baseball game and had a problem with seeing players who chew tobacco. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I know young kids watch this sport, and Buck Selig is probably trying to reach out to the younger kids in this topic.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, the younger kids they don't see that. They don't see the players spitting and chewing tobacco.
A younger kid's not gonna be like, hey, why is this? You know, you could. I hate to say it, but you could lie to your kid and be like, hey. Your kid would be like, hey, why is his cheek so puffy? It's like, oh, because he, blows up his lip.
Yeah, see, he's chewing gum or something. Yeah. I've been to not thousands, but I've been to a lot of baseball games. I've watched over 100 baseball games, more than that, and I've never seen. I can't recall a time where I saw somebody chew tobacco.
When you're sitting in the stands, you can't. If you're sitting in the stands, you can't even really.
But even on TV, I mean, that's close up, and that's the.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe it's banned in college. You can't use smoking tobacco.
Well, tobacco products on college campuses are.
Well, not on campus. I mean, during games.
Well, that's still part of the campus, right?
Well, I guess, but I think it's like an NCAA thing. I'm not completely sure.
No, you're probably right in that.
If you're playing, NCAA baseball, you can't.
Yeah, NCAA seems like they would do something like that. They are just they're trying to just have a stranglehold on everything. But
Bud Selig doing that kind of reminds me of like a Goodell kind of thing. Like, not to switch sports, but you go to NFL now, you can't use the F word on the field, or is it the N word?
You can't drop an M bomb.
How exactly are they going to regulate that?
How do you hear that? No, it's a relevant topic.
It's staying in the same topic about.
It's the same thing about
How exactly are they going to regulate that? You know how many penalties there are going to be? I mean,
if an official hears that, he has to.
How strict do you think they're actually going to be? I mean, he might hear it, but they're going to throw a flag every time you hear it. I mean, football. I mean, that's a. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, that's you're pretty you're playing it. You're going to be pretty pumped up.
Well, it's kind of like the thing when they were talking about, I think they implemented.
It's an emotional game. So, I mean, you're going to be out there. You're going to say things.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the changes.
It's like the thing where they implemented the rule where, the running back can't lower his head anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
how do you actually know how to regulate it or how to make it, to know, hey, that was a penalty, that was not a penalty.
Based on the official's judgment, and I don't know the statistics, but I would say in the past 7 or 8 years, there's been more changes in the NFL than the past 20 or 30 years.
I think the NFL is getting a lot of control with all the regulations they're putting on.
They're a multi-billion-dollar industry, I know that, but you still want to make it fun. It's not the same as it was 20 years ago. I know safety is a big issue, but players know what they're getting into when they sign up.
Well, because they're getting sued out of their ass, and they're trying to.
Man, I don't agree with all that.
No, but I've talked to past players. I've talked to players that have played in the league, and they said, "No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. They never told me that I knew what I was getting into." And I was like, "You had to know what you were getting into."
I knew that in Pee Wee football. I'm hitting my helmet on someone else's helmet, full contact. I get a headache afterwards. I know something's going on. It's not right.
I know somebody that played in the league for 12 years, and we talked about the whole concussion thing, the CTE, and he was adamant about the whole. And he says he has all the symptoms of it, all the things. But I said, "Are you kidding me that you had no idea that this would come back to haunt you later on?" He said no. I said, "How do you not know that? How do you not know that? Your job is you're basically getting battered in the head for 60, 80 plays a game. How do you not know that something is gonna affect you?"
Yeah, I'm scared to see what's gonna happen. 20 years down the road, we're gonna end up flag football. 6 on 6.
Some people are saying the NFL won't be around 20 years. But I don't believe that. It's too big.
Mark Cuban even came out and made some comments. I don't think it was on this topic.
Oh, you know what, Mark Cuban, you could suck it, Mark Cuban, because of what you did for this year and all the past times before.
Did y'all hear it just came out though? Going back to NFL, the DEA is investigating the NFL for prescription drug use, because the way they're just handing it out to people and people are getting hooked on it, and
yeah.
Well, that's
the DEA. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. They're investigating the NFL.
I think that's along all levels, even in college and when I was in high school. Our trainer would give us medication, and she would before a game, if we had injured, like if we were sore or injured, she would give us a pill to help us throughout the game, so we wouldn't feel soreness or.
Yeah, but I mean, the DEA is actually looking into them. I don't know what's going to come out. This just came out the other day.
That was high school, so I can't imagine what's going on in NFL.
Yeah, well, hell, you remember, everybody watched Varsity Blues. Remember, James Vanderbeek busting in the room going, "Don't take that shot." And to the guy's knee is when they're doing it on that level, just in high school. What the hell do you think they're doing in college? And what do you think they're doing in the pros?
I mean, they have team physicians. It's not that they're not supposed to be using the drug, but I think it's the way they're making it available to anybody. And but they're not really regulating it. I guess
the team physician is paid for by the team.
Yeah, so he's going to do what the team wants him to do.
I mean, Bob McNair comes down to the team doctor of the Texans and he goes, "Hey, we need him back on the field. Make sure he can get back out there." What the hell do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, well, that's why they're investigating. I mean, I think the use is getting out of control, and these players getting hooked on it. And you have, these former players, like, kind of going back to the concussion deal. And these guys are coming back saying, "Oh, I'm hooked on drugs now because I used it so often and it was so easy to get. They would give me anything I wanted." I mean, yeah, I think you get hurt. I mean, after a game, you're going to be hurting. So give them a couple Vicodin or whatever. But I think it was more than that. They could get it anytime they wanted, and so they start getting dependent on it. I think that's what the DEA is investigating.
Yeah, I heard about all this, and it's a slippery slope. But also, how come the NFL's been protected by so much stuff? I mean, why has there not been any kind of like antitrust thing against the NFL? Well,
I don't know what's going to come out of all this. I mean, who knows? But I thought it was kind of crazy that the DEA is actually looking into it.
Well, while we're on NFL talk, upcoming season is right around the corner. Camp opens up in about 2 weeks, and let's talk about our hometown Houston Texans. With Andre Johnson, that's obviously one of the biggest issues, and Arian Foster looking better than ever. Hopefully, he has another breakout season. I think he has good chances for one. How do you guys feel?
Let's get the pads on and see first. They've only been doing shorts and stuff. So
you're right.
All I know is that I'm tired of hearing about Dregate.
And Foster came out and said Andre is Houston.
No, you know who is the face of the Texans right now?
Arian,
JJ.
Sorry, Arian
JJ Watt. JJ Watt is the face of the Texans.
Well, Arian Foster said that Houston is Andre's city, which I don't disagree with. I mean, he's been with us since 2003. So I don't disagree with that. Honestly, I'd like less talking from Arian and more play because he starts running his mouth.
Hold on. When I hear Andre is the face of Houston, okay.
Not that he's the face of Houston; it's his city. Like he's not.
Okay.
The face of Houston.
Well, all right, his city. Okay, so you have Hakeem.
When it comes to the Texans, not
the Texans.
That's
football.
Okay.
Yeah, with football. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. Obviously, because I mean, he's been there. He's been here what? 10 years, 12 years?
Something like that, yeah. The Texans come out. I think they're probably one of the most question mark teams of the NFL. We do not know what's going to happen with the Texans this season.
There's plenty of question marks.
Yeah, we can go up or we can go really down.
The defense has plenty of potential with Clowney and Watt. But then you look at the offensive side. We don't know if Andre is going to be here or not. We really need him to stay here. Then our quarterback situation what's Andre going to do? We don't know yet.
He has to stay here.
We're not going to know what's going to happen until probably a day or two before camp opens up. Hopefully, Bill O'Brien can take him out to eat and just get this whole issue solved.
I don't know why he's so pissed off, because if he thinks and he has this feeling, and I have the feeling that we're going to cut him after next year, you know what? Go out there and ball your ass off. Go out there, catch a bunch of passes, be badass, then we cut you, and some team is going to sign you.
He did that last season. He balled his ass off. It's all about money with Andre. You're right. He wants to make sure that he's going to be guaranteed a contract next year.
I think some of it has to do with he doesn't want to be part of – he's on the downside of his career. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and what does he have? 3 or 4 more years left? Maybe 5? Maybe?
I say 3 at the most.
So, I mean – I understand kind of where he's coming from. I don't think he should be doing all this and holding out and this and that. I think that's ridiculous. And it's not a good start to O'Brien's tenure.
Yeah, it's a new system.
But I understand what he's saying. I mean, what's come out is the whole $1 million thing with the workouts, but I don't think it's only money. I think he doesn't want to be part of a rebuilding thing. I don't think he's on board with Fitzpatrick being the starting quarterback. I think he's, like I said, he's on the downside of his career, so he doesn't want to be part of another rebuild.
Well, he's a veteran now, and he wants a ring. He wants money, and he wants a ring. I understand that point.
Well, you get either one of the two. You can't go out and demand a huge-ass contract being a 32-year-old wide receiver.
I don't think he's demanding a huge contract. I mean, he's still under contract. It came out the whole $1 million thing that he missed, and he wants that, and he's mad because they told him no. But I really think it has a lot to do with he doesn't want to be part of another rebuild.
Yeah.
And regardless of which I think, we do have some talent on this team, but we are rebuilding.
Yeah.
This team is a lot different than it was last year, which is a good thing, or the last few years. But we are rebuilding. Like, if you disagree with that, then it's just ridiculous.
But I don't think we're rebuilding from the ground up.
No.
I think we're right there, like mid-level. It's like a skyscraper. It's like you're halfway there to building that tower. So you're right there. And so you just got to, I don't know, man.
But we are rebuilding. We're not going to come in next year being a contender at all.
Andre's been respected his whole career. He's been quiet. He's done everything he's supposed to do. He's been the perfect player in the NFL. And now all of this talk about, he wants more money, he's not showing up, it's actually making him relevant in the NFL and making his stock, I think, go up a little bit. People are actually noticing who Andre Johnson is now and
I think
how
out of all
good he
this,
is.
he's looking the worst, though.
Yeah. You're right, but just think about the past 10 years. He's been great for our team, but no one's known who he is. I mean, they know who he is, but he hasn't gotten the media and the attention as what he has deserved. But now he has. He is now.
But what 32-year-old wide receiver going to be 33, next month, is going to be making $12 million?
Well, based off the numbers he had last year, I mean, yeah, he is getting towards the end of his career, but he hasn't showed it yet. He hasn't stopped yet. Maybe this season he starts to show it, but we don't know where he's even going to be.
I mean, he hasn't really had, a down year besides
the hamstring year.
Well, if he's injured, yeah, that's different. But as far as production, I mean, besides, catching touchdown passes, which is not his fault, he wasn't thrown to.
I mean,
but he hasn't really, his game itself hasn't dropped off that much.
Yeah, so he could be asking for maybe even more money, or at least as much money as he's making now. What if he goes to New England? He has Tom Brady throwing to him. He could have a career year, a year better than any year he had with the Texans.
Kind of like a Randy Moss dude.
Well, hell, send him then. Send him.
He's going to sit there and demand a trade.
If they give us a first-round draft pick, send him.
I don't think so. I think that's death to the Texans. If we don't have Andre here, we're even worse than we're going to be.
Well, obviously, you want him on the team. Obviously, I don't want to see him go. But if he's going to throw a fit, if you're going to sit back and say, "I want to trade, I want to be here," and he just keeps holding out, then you got to let him go.
I think you got to pay him, man. Just pay him the money. He's worth it. He's been here his whole career. He's been well respected. He's kept his mouth shut.
So you just pay him just because he's been quiet, because he hadn't said
because
anything?
We need him on this team. A number one draft pick, that didn't help us this season. Our season already isn't looking too well.
You don't think
with Andre it's going to be worse?
But maybe O'Brien's offense, doesn't really need him.
No, we definitely do. You can't say we don't need Andre Johnson.
If O'Brien's scheme and his offense and all this turns out like you are saying, because this guy sounds like he's some kind of miracle worker the way you talk about him. And I hope he is. I mean, when has he been head coach in the NFL? Yeah, he was offense coordinator on the Patriots, one of the best teams the last 10 years that we've ever seen consistently. I mean, dynasty. They haven't won since 2005, but, I mean, they're in it every damn year.
I agree. He could almost be like our last coach. He wants to ground and pound. He wants to run the ball, and he wants the defense to step up. And with this offense, we're not going to score many points if we run the ball. Hopefully, Arian Foster comes out and has a great year. That'll give us I don't even think a chance, but I mean, we need to throw. We need to open up our offense. That's the way the NFL is going today. There are so many fewer teams who are running the ball and focusing on defense to win games. Like last year, whenever you
got people playing the zone. Hell, run that shit right up the gap.
When we had Case Keenum come out, he was just a gunslinger. He was throwing the ball all over the field, and it was excitement. We need offense where we're going to throw the ball down the field. I think running the ball.
Hell, when I saw O'Brien out there bitching out Tom Brady on the sidelines, I was like, That dude's a badass.
Well, obviously he's going to bring a different attitude to the team. He already has.
I agree. And that's good.
That is good. But let's hold off on the whole miracle worker and we're going to be successful just because O'Brien's here. Yeah, he's going to bring change. There's going to be a new attitude with the Texans, and that's definitely what we needed. I mean, Kubiak was so standoffish. It drove you mad.
Lackadaisical kind of, hey, it's on me.
Kubiak, throw 5 yards down the field, and hopefully you get a first down. I'm thinking if O'Brien likes to run the ball, hopefully he doesn't turn into a Kubiak. He just wants to throw short passes down the field.
I just think y'all are banking, when I say y'all, mostly Anthony and Jason, y'all are banking too much on O'Brien's scheme, O'Brien this, O'Brien that. You got to have the actual players to implement it.
We're going to have to bank on the 5-yard passes if Fitzpatrick
that's the old Texans.
Is our quarterback.
You're right. I did hear say that at 20 yards, after anything past 20 yards is not too accurate. And that just sounds like another matchup to me. And we knew what we were getting when we drafted him. And so I don't know what to expect from this season.
We drafted who?
When we got our quarterback.
We didn't draft him, man.
Yeah,
the only quarterback we drafted was Tom Savage. And does anybody have any faith in Tom Savage? I have a lot of faith in Tom Savage.
Why?
I think that dude is going to be, in 2 years, he's going to be a great quarterback.
I just hope in O'Brien we're not seeing another Kubiak where he's very conservative. Just throw the ball 5 yards down the field whenever it's 1st and 6.
I don't think he's going to be like that. I think he is like, he's going to go balls to the walls. He's like, this is my shot. You have your shot. It's like, hey, Clayton, you want to be the CEO of this company? You're going to go balls to the walls, and you're gonna make sure that you do the best that you can to your abilities and what you have on your roster. Hell, getting a steal like Louis Nix and then getting Suafilo, they stole that draft. The Texans stole the draft this year. There's no doubt about it. That was a hell of a draft that we had.
Well, they have to turn out. They have to play.
Yeah. Well,
I'm talking about just off potential, what we've seen in college.
College doesn't always translate to the NFL.
Yeah, of course it doesn't. Look at Marinovich. Look at Akili. Whatever.
Y'all are saying they're going to win 10 games because O'Brien's scheme.
Run the ball. I don't think you can win that many. If your defense is elite, like Seahawks last year, they had an unstoppable defense. But their quarterback Wilson, he threw the ball a little bit. They did run, but they wouldn't all run. It was throw the ball a little bit, and their defense stepped up, and that's how they got to the Super Bowl.
I just don't like what he's done with the quarterback position so far. As far as the player, I don't know. He's supposed to be some kind of quarterback guru. Wasn't Kubiak a quarterback guru?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is actually not that great of a quarterback.
I have to disagree with you.
He's not that great.
Athletic. He's an athlete.
He's an athlete.
But I think
all right. So you have the choice to go. You start your team, and you have a pick of 2 quarterbacks, and your choices are Russell Wilson or Colin Kaepernick. Which one do you pick?
Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl ring.
No.
Russell Wilson beat Colin Kaepernick.
Well, I pick Wilson. I go with Wilson.
I go Kaepernick.
Relevant.
Why? What's your reason for that?
Because the Seahawks won the Super Bowl because they were a team. That defense was just... they shut everything down.
The 49ers have a pretty good defense. Not Seattle defense. I understand that.
Not Seahawks defense.
But you're saying they won just because they have a better defense.
Kaepernick has a cannon.
Russell Wilson's pretty damn good.
If he was on the Texans this year, you can't really use Kaepernick because they didn't have anybody to throw to. So if I was going with Bill O'Brien and the Texans this year, I would much rather prefer Wilson. Wilson would definitely give us a better option than Kaepernick this year for the Texans.
I don't like they settled for Fitzpatrick. They picked up Tom Savage. Do you think O'Brien is banking on him? That's going to be his guy?
That might be his guy. And you know what? He might be great.
But
you don't know yet.
He's supposed to be a quarterback guru, right? Wasn't that what Kubiak was?
Yeah, Kubiak took a shop golf.
Isn't that what he was touted as?
Kubiak was an offensive
guru. He was a quarterback? No. He was known as a quarterback guy. The whole John Elway thing.
I'm just hoping we're not going back to what we experienced a few years ago where our defense was one of the most dominant in the NFL, but then our offense was one of the worst. But we had like 3 or 4 players go to the Pro Bowl from our defense, but no one went from the offense.
Hell, that
could be what we're experiencing again.
That 2011 team they should have gone to the Super Bowl. But the fact that fat ass, Hainsworth falls on Matt Schaub's foot, it ruined that season. I remember I was at Walmart. I hate to say that I was at Walmart, but I was at Walmart, and Jeremy texts me and goes, Matt Schaub broke his foot. He's out for the year. It was the saddest time I've ever had in a Walmart aisle.
I was sitting in my room just watching TV, watching SportsCenter. I mean, I had known that Schaub went out the game before against the Buccaneers, but he came back in, didn't he? He came back in and played. So nobody in Houston or anybody was thinking that it was a serious injury. So here comes breaking news on ESPN, Schaub out for the year with a Liz Frank injury. And I just sat there in disbelief, like, are you serious? Yeah, but that's always been said that 2011, that would have been the team that our best chance to go to the Super Bowl. But looking back now, I mean, the way Schaub turned out, I don't know if he would have carried us to the Super Bowl. We had a good team, good defense, but do you really think we would have won it all with Schaub if he was still in there? I understand he fell apart. He was playing a lot better then, but I never saw Schaub carrying us to the Super Bowl, and I'd always said that before. You used to be on Schaub's bandwagon.
Yeah, he's the biggest bandwagon fan we have.
He was great. He was great.
All right, well, and at least going into this season, we're not expecting great things. Going into last season, we expected us to go to the Super Bowl. We were one of the picks to go. Then we lose, the first two games, or we won. It was close at the end of each game. What was our record after the first two games?
We were 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0, but they were all close. They were all close.
We had to win what was the first game? Chargers. We had to win that in overtime.
Yeah,
and then the Titans game, we barely pulled that out.
The expectations are much less going into this season, so if something good happens, it'll be anything more fun for us to watch.
Hell, anything is better than watching 14 losses in a row.
No one could have guessed that.
Yeah, we haven't had a win in a while.
Yeah.
Well, spring training opens up, or camp opens up in about 2 weeks. Everybody's excited.
I think it's like 8 days.
Yeah, everybody's excited for that.
The veterans report for the Texans. The veterans report on July 25th. So, I mean, we're right there.
Football is obviously one of the biggest sports in America. We want that back. We want our fantasy leagues back, and just keeping up with football and football talk every day. We love that as Americans. Well, guys, we hit 3 or 4 major topics for the day. How do you guys feel about this?
It was fun.
I think we had some great debates, great talks.
Hold on. I want to get some Jose in here. Jose, come here. Come say hi. Just say hi to the people.
Jose, how would you access our podcast for today?
Yeah, how was it, Jose?
It was awesome.
And there it is. The insightful, inquisitive Jose Hernandez coming in here and just letting us know how we did. And he can always sum it up in 2 words.
Thanks for that, Jose.
It was amazing.
Well, guys, if you're still here, thanks a lot for joining us in HTOWN LOWDOWN. We have, once again, hosts Jeremy Dennis, Anthony Castillo, and executive producer Clayton Scott here. Don't forget to check out our webpage. Not officially finished yet, but it is up and running, HTOWNLOWDOWN.com. We have our Facebook link on there where you can check out our podcast.
And we're sorry for the porn banners that pop up.
There are no porn banners on there. And soon to come, we'll have our blog post up and running, and there's great things to come from us, and I hope you keep listening and keep tuning in.
Thanks for all the support, guys. We love y'all. We love y'all so much. Thanks a lot, guys.
HTOWN LOWDOWN out.